In this video, we'll be looking at common questions our users have on the payment schedule. I call them critical fundamentals. First thing is the accrued interest column. Let's open up an account. This column, the accrued interest, is the interest on the entire loan balance, really the entire loan balance, or what we call the computational balance from the previous line. For example, the interest of 491 is from 0601 till 0701 in the morning. So if you change the interest rate to 0% here, of course my accrued interest becomes 0. So there's no interest on the entire loan balance for this period of time from 0701 till 0801. Some will think, for example here with the $50 in fees, some think that if I put in a 0 here, there'll be no interest on the $50 I just charged here. This is wrong. There's actually no interest on the entire loan balance. If there are more than 2 lines with the same date, the same payment date, here are 3 lines with May 1st. Some wonder why there's no interest on these lines. Well, it's quite straightforward. There's no interest between May 1st and May 1st and May 1st. So there's interest here from April 1st till May 1st at 0 o'clock in the morning, but no interest on these 2 lines, of course. As for date inclusion and date exclusion, we started looking at that. I often see people putting in a line of at the end of the month. So in this case, October 31st, saying, well, the interest is for the whole month. That is wrong. The interest is actually from October 1st at 0 o'clock till October 31st, again at 0 o'clock in the morning. So there's no interest for the actual date of the 31st. If I want to have the interest for the full month, October 1st till October 31st at midnight, I must have a line here of November 1st. So the interest for this day, for the day of October 31st, is actually 970 right here. The last line also is another issue. If my loan ends on May 1st, the interest is up until May 1st in the morning. If I have a balance, the interest does not keep on computing. If I want interest to continue computing, I would add a line at the end, and I'd put in a date, an information line, far ahead in time, 01/01/2025. And there I keep the interest going even if I don't have any payments. Now, next topic, accrued versus paid. This is something really important and fundamental, and we often see errors that are made by non-accountants when they report. Many don't understand the difference between accrued and paid interest, and also what we coin here, for lack of a better term, mathematical principle and the paid principle. So some will report, we've seen this before, they'll always report accrued interest and mathematical principle in their reporting. If you're working on an accrual basis, I must report the accrued interest as well as the paid interest. They're just as important. On the other hand, if I'm working on a cash basis, what's important to me is the information in this column, what we call the paid interest, not the accrued. The accrued may step in later on, though, at the end of the year, for example. I also have paid interest, paid fees, and paid principal. So these are really critical columns to the right as opposed to these ones which are left. The mathematical principle, this column here, is simply a catch-all that increases or decreases the true balance depending on the payment amount, the interest accrued, and if fees are charged. And you'll notice in terms of the accrued interest, if I change my payment from 2,300 to 0 or to $1, for example, notice the amount stays the same. It's still $366.22, but now look at my paid interest is 0. So the total is very, very different between the accrued and the paid. You'll notice here, if I go back to the top, in regular scenarios, my accrued interest and paid are the same, 416, and my mathematical principal is the same. As long as I respect the schedule as it should have been paid, these will be equal. As soon as I change this, I have an unpaid payment. My paid components are all zeros, of course. If I change this back to 1,000, then my NSF are paid first in the refund order, then pay principal. And if I have leftover, I'll pay principal. This is the normal refund order, which can be changed in Margill if this is needed. There are other ways which we'll cover in a different video. A couple of nice things to know also. We often have users that aren't able to change the payment date. Hey, how come I'm not able to change the payment date? An example here with my 3 lines on May 1st, if I try changing this date to the 5th, 2021, of course it won't work because I must follow the chronological order. Invalid date. Of course, I can then change this one to the 5th because it follows the chronological order. Also, we notice these totals at the bottom of each column. They're useful. Even if I select the lines, these won't change. The ones that do change are my totals at the bottom of the screen right here. So if I select some columns, I'll have selected lines, the total payment column, the total interest accrued, the mathematical principal. Also, when I place I also have the number of days when I select only one line. So that's kind of practical here, the day count. If you place your mouse on one of the dates, you'll see the day of week right here. So there you have it. I invite you to take a look at some other videos which we produce regularly. Thanks.